This is Optimal Living Daily. It's much easier than you think to live the life you want by Isaac Morehouse of isaacmorehouse.com. And I'm Justin Malik, and we're going to get right to it as we optimize your life. It's much easier than you think to live the life you want by Isaac Morehouse of isaacmorehouse.com. Maybe not easy, but entirely possible. I recently listened to an episode of the World Wanderers podcast where the host discussed working at a cafe in a great city that a lot of people would love to live in. She mentioned how, had she not moved to this cool, exciting city, the job she had would have made her feel like a loser. In your hometown, working retail after getting an expensive degree seems pretty lame. Up and moving to a destination city and working retail to support the lifestyle seems kind of adventurous. Back home, she would have dreaded seeing an old friend come in. "Oh, so you're working here?" In the new city, when someone she knew came in, the question was more like, "Wow, so you're living here?" Just a few days ago, I talked to a guy who's biking across the country and loving it. He spent several months in beautiful Missoula, Montana, waiting for the weather to improve so he could continue his journey. He worked at a grocery store while there, and it provided everything he needed to live the lifestyle he wanted and get back on the road in time. What would his resume look like when several years out of college he had grocery bagger listed? Not great, except when put in the context of spent 2 years biking across the US, paying my way through with odd jobs and blogging about the adventure. I thought about this phenomenon more in Mompiche, Ecuador a few weeks ago. We found a little place with a sign for American-style pancakes, a welcome breakfast after days of fruit and cereal. The breakfast nook was run by a 20-something woman from the Ukraine. She fried up pancakes on a small griddle and served them with coffee for breakfast and lunch in the tiny bohemian surfing village. She lived in a neat little house right above the pancake joint and spent the rest of the day as she pleased. Imagine this ambitious young woman back home responding to the common, "So what do you do?" with, "I make pancakes for a living." Likely her friends and family would be a little worried and ashamed and think something wrong with her. Contrast that with the same answer to the same question, but with a change in geography. "I moved across the world to a tropical surfing village in Ecuador where I opened my own business." Wow, what an enviable life, right? There's something weird about staying in your hometown. It severely limits the definitions you accept for what makes you successful. Oddly, most of the hometown definitions of success have nothing to do with happiness. They have to do with becoming what everyone in your past expects or desires, given who you used to be. It's a sort of tether to a past self that no longer exists. When the expectations of back home no longer apply, you can ask better questions and make clearer connections. What kind of person do you want to be versus what job title do you want? What kind of people and surroundings do you want to be immersed in versus where do you want to work or live? Many people would probably love to be the master of their own schedule, be in a beautiful outdoor setting with interesting people from around the world, seriously pursue a hobby with lots of their time, and be challenged in new ways daily. And most of those same people would be horrified at the idea of playing guitar on the street for money, flipping pancakes, or doing freelance odd jobs online, any of which might be the very means to achieve the life described. Most people have this idea that you have to work a boring job in a boring house in a boring city for a few decades, and then if you play your cards right and all kinds of things totally out of your control, like the stock market or real estate prices, do the right thing, you can have some kind of 2-week vacation cruise or retire in a place where you enjoy good weather and leisure. The weird thing is, all those someday goals are available right now with relatively little difficulty. You can afford to live in a cool bamboo house in a beach town just by making pancakes for lunch and breakfast. You can, as one guy I met, travel the length of South America living entirely off the cash you make playing guitar outside of restaurants. I'm not claiming this kind of life is for everyone, not at all. There's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 job and life in the suburbs if that's what really resonates with you. There's nothing inherently noble about traveling or working some low-wage odd job. The point is that it's too easy to choose things based on an artificially limited option set. It's too easy to define your life by stupid things like college majors or giant industry labels or titles that will make Aunt Bessie proud at the family reunion or salary levels. The last one is especially dangerous. It's a weird habit to measure your success in life only by the revenue side of the equation. Who cares if you bring in $100,000 a year if it only buys you a crappy apartment that you hate in a city that stresses you out with friends that don't inspire you and a daily existence you mostly daydream about escaping from? Your costs exceed your revenues and you're actually going backward. You very well could get twice the lifestyle you desire at half the annual income. Like any business, the health of your personal life should be measured using both revenues and costs. On the personal level, neither are not just monetary. Only you can know what kind of life you want. But getting off the conveyor belt of the education system, getting out of the hometown expectations trap, and opening your mind to measures of progress beyond salary will give you a much better chance of crafting a life you love. You just listened to the post titled, "It's Much Easier Than You Think to Live the Life You Want" by Isaac Morehouse of isaacmorehouse.com. I'll be right back with my commentary.
Every day at Sierra, you'll find top brand apparel, footwear, and gear for 20 to 60% less than department and specialty store prices. And during clearance time at Sierra, those incredible prices are 40 divided by 2.5, carry the 1, even lower. And when you shop clearance at Sierra, you can save a whole lot more on everything you need to get active and outside. That's a lot of saving. Epic brands, vast selection, teeny tiny prices. That's Sierra. Visit your local Sierra store today or shop online at Sierra.com.
Thank you to Isaac. I could definitely relate to this one, especially the part about how we define success based on where we are or who is watching. I remember when I was working as an analyst, sitting in a cubicle every day, not that there's anything wrong with that. By all traditional standards, I was doing well. I had the MBA, the full-time job with benefits and a 401k match, but I wasn't living the life I wanted. When I left to start an app business in 2012, and eventually this podcast in 2015, it was definitely a move that looked risky or even confusing from the outside. But for me, it was about trading that quote-unquote safety for autonomy, and I never looked back. So what is that revenue versus cost for you? Maybe you're making six figures but feel stressed and daydream about escape. It's all about what kind of life you actually want to live. So maybe today we can ask ourselves, what do I really want my days to look like? And is there a simpler way to get there than I've been assuming? It's good stuff to think about. So thank you to Isaac for this one. Thank you for being here. That's the greatest gift you could give me, just being here and listening along with me. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.